This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
You're plugged in for the Podcast Wrestling Society, where you can get dynamic weekly pro wrestling and MMA-related content. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PODWRES Society so that you can stay in the know.
Faith is the place. The sky's the limit.
And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Now, your host, he is the one and only Troy Adams.
This is the biggest and reddest Wrestling Wednesday we've ever had here, brought to you by the Podcast Wrestling Society. I'm your loving leader, benevolent host, Midwest Monster, and if I don't beat you, I will set myself on fire. I am Troy Adams, and oh yes, my co-host today, he's alive! He's the big red machine to my Lord of Darkness. He is the devil's favorite, Greg. What up, Greg?
What up?
Better than
I wasn't
devil's
so
favorite.
sure if I should come in with "Gone Forever, Bro." I don't know how many people get that.
Apparently, that's a running gag on the show that people appreciate.
Damn, I missed that one.
Yeah.
This is where it all started, by the way. With
Yes,
Kane.
We will talk about it. We've talked about it on our Russo episodes. But this one, man, we're coming in hot today. I did want to
Pun
mention...
intended.
Yeah, right. Hot fire. See, I'm trying to get the Conrad segues in there.
Well, roll tide.
No, there will be none of that. But
TJ
by the way,
sorry.
by the way, I never did check the final score. Did Michigan lose?
I gave up. I left.
No. Well, see, what good are you when I ask you this stuff? Damn it, Greg.
I lost. I think it was 28-21.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, we play the Nittany Lions here before long, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah, we're coming in hot today. You and I, before we get into any, subjects here on the show, we were talking about doing a giveaway here in 2 weeks.
Yes.
We're not giving anything away in 2 weeks, but let me explain. In 2 weeks, on our November 6th episode, which I'll tell you the subject for at the end of the show, it's a really good one. You're definitely going to want to stick around to hear. We're going to try to do it big, bro. We will be covering something very historic, and it has something to do with the month of November. So, there's a spoiler, bro.
Oh, you know what it is.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But anyway, yeah, we're going to have a keyword, or key phrase, rather, right before our second promo break of the show. So that means you all have to listen if you want what we're doing for the giveaway. Do you want to tell them what we're giving away, Greg?
I will tell them during it.
Okay. Well,
I'll tell you this. It's WWE figures, but I'm not going to say which one.
Oh, yeah. And if you listen to the show enough, you know that Greg and I are collectors. We're big fans. Greg listens to the Major Wrestling Figures podcast.
It's kind of like reignited my love of figures.
Yeah, I
don't know if it's a good thing.
It seems like every other day I'm getting a text from you. Oh, just bought this today.
Only on weekends. Come on, not every day.
It seems that way to me, but I don't know. But yeah, so you and I will be doing a little bit of figure hunting while we are in Chi-Town. We're going to have our own little Chi-Town Rumble going on with that. And
God, I can't wait.
Hell yeah. Chicago, for all of you out there who have never experienced Chicago, it's not like the greatest place on earth, but I will say this, you have to go there at least once. There's enough there to make your experience worthwhile. And
I was there for a couple of days in August before SummerSlam, and it was awesome.
Yeah, Chicago's great. It's got some good stuff. I've had some bad experiences there. I've had some good experiences there. Now that I think back about it, I don't know why I like it so much. I should be traumatized by Chicago. I literally found out my grandfather died the first time I went to Chicago, and then I had my car towed the second time I went. So,
well, this time you're going to go for something historic. It's going to be good this time. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, exactly. As long as nobody dies and nothing gets towed, I'm good, I think. Knock on wood. But this time is going to be good. There's plenty to see, plenty to do. It's probably going to be, it's a safe bet, it's going to be cold as all hell. So I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Hell yeah.
And to anybody who can fly into Chicago O'Hare Airport is kind of cool. I've been through one time on a connection, and it was pretty cool just to walk through. Like, it's a cool looking airport, and it's a big hub, so good stuff there. But getting back to the actual point at hand, with figure collecting, we're going to be doing that giveaway in 2 weeks. Key phrase: you will have to direct message the podcast on one form of our social media, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Slide into our DMs. They are open on all forms of social media. And the catch here is there has to be at least 10 entrants for us to do this. If 10 people enter, they send us the key.
Small.
Yes. If they send us the key phrase and we get 10 of them, then we will enter them into a drawing, and the very next podcast we will announce who has won. And if you win, you have to, we'll message you back, and you just send us your, shipping information and all that, and we'll send you whatever you won. We will do this.
Good.
I was just going to say, if this is a success, we'll do it multiple times, and we'll make it bigger and better each and every time. But so there you go. But go ahead, Greg.
I need to point out two things. Number one, the prize isn't something extravagant. Okay, you're not getting some very rare figure. Okay, honestly, it could be a basic, could be an elite. It's something though. Okay, it's something. Who's singing and playing about free stuff? And second, if you know me, you're exempt from winning. You know who you are.
Oh man, yeah, you know who you are. Yeah. So if and
I have a couple people that listen to this that I know personally.
Yeah, so people that you communicate. We'll put it this way, as far as quote knowing each other. If we have your phone numbers in our phones, there you go. You're exempt.
Perfect.
You can't
win.
Yeah, because I think
you know the two I'm thinking of, by the way.
Yes,
you should know the two.
Yes, I definitely I do. And I will tell all of you out there. Knowing us doesn't include, if you see us in Chicago, we'll be live tweeting and whatever else while we're there. Come up and get a picture and an autograph with some real bros. Had to get that in.
This is a real thing, folks.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is from somebody what we know on social media. It says something similar to this and very stupid, but
and
regardless.
Very well off, by the way, I got to point out. I don't get this world sometimes. I don't get this world.
Life isn't fair, Greg.
It's not.
I will tell the rest of you, the giveaways will get bigger and better as they go on, and as we bring in more
I can
listeners.
promise you, if we get a lot more listeners and the bigger the entries, the better the prize will be. How about that?
Yes, definitely.
That's fair. Yeah.
You'll have 7 days from the time the podcast always drops Wednesday night at 12. Well, excuse me, Wednesday morning at 12:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So,
I never got that time zone thing really.
I know.
Why is it not 12 Pacific? But whatever.
I know, right? And for all of you out, gosh, I'm gonna smack you. For all of you out there,
you're gonna have the chance to. Sorry.
Yep. Spoiler. I think I've mentioned this before, but because of the way YouTube works, the podcast automatically gets uploaded to YouTube, and I'm not going to stay up until 12:05 on a Wednesday morning every week to post the podcast right at 12:05. I put it on a timer, but I try to post it as late as possible. But it uploads to YouTube like a couple hours before it uploads in audio form to podcast platforms. So just a heads up for all of you out there.
And I also want to say, if you're that eager to get our podcast, we love you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our last one on Halloween Havoc.
Sarcastic, by the way. Not.
Yes. Yeah, our last one on Halloween Havoc 1997. I mean, you guys, we got more views on YouTube than we got listens on the actual podcast platforms. And I mean, either way, it's a listen. Thank you. If you get the chance to listen to us in audio form, please do. But, you know, we appreciate however the hell you listen. Thank you.
We also got some good stuff coming up, too. Like,
for sure.
A month or two.
Yeah. We've got one more Halloween Havoc. We're going to cover, well, I'll let you decide. I think you and I decided on 1998, but, you know, because that was kind of a stinker.
I think that was one of the better matches they've ever had on Halloween Havoc, but overall.
The main event, yes,
main event, yeah.
Definitely.
That's what I meant, main event.
Right. But it also had it was kind of like, what is it with like 97 and 98? It's like has an amazing match on the card that everybody loved, had a weird ending, and Hulk Hogan's match was crap.
Yeah.
I just, it was really, really weird.
Look, rest in peace, Dusty, but that event sucks, okay? Sorry. Now, the name rules ass, I'll say that. But the event,
yeah, it was something.
I gotta say, that is one of the more epic pay-per-view names I can think of.
I honestly wish that WWE would bring it back like how they did with Starrcade. But instead of it, I mean, they could do it the house show form like they do with Starrcade, whatever, that'd be fine. But I mean, Triple H, from everything I've heard, especially with him reviving War Games and everything, I've heard that he holds, you know, old school NWA stuff like near and dear to his heart.
Well, look who his favorite wrestler is. I mean, that's not...
Yeah, right. Even though he says, well, I grew up on WWF, and that was, you know, that was everything to me. And it's like, really? Because you seem to lean towards NWA.
Well, let's be honest. WWF was, you know, you know what? I don't want to say a bad word. But NWA is where the matches were. You know,
exactly.
That's a fact.
Quality-wise.
And you know I'm a WWE mark. I have no, you know, I have no shame saying that. But if you look back in the decades, in the 80s, NWA had the best matches. Just a fact.
Yes. Yep. Nothing like in-ring quality-wise could ever hold up. WWF just couldn't compete. WWF was just the spectacle.
But, you know, but the spectacle, they kicked the crap out.
Oh, absolutely. And Hulk Hogan was a gigantic star, and he's the only one that... I mean, he was the one that they cared about. I mean, they cared about other wrestlers, too. I mean, Savage had great matches. Steamboat, when he was there,
Savage was
had
probably
great
the best
matches.
worker the whole decade, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah. Him and people like him
Brett
and Jake Roberts. Yeah. The British Bulldogs, you know, Rougeaus, people like that. But I mean, like singles, yeah, Macho Man was probably the dude. Him and Jake Roberts, I think. And
you know, it's funny too.
He was no slouch.
To this day, you know, people know how great he was. I still feel like he didn't get enough respect.
Macho Man?
Yeah, he was still just the other guy, always.
Yeah,
as great as he was.
I know.
Some people may disagree with me on that, but I still feel like he wasn't as talked about as he should have been.
Yeah, he was always the second fiddle to Hulk Hogan.
And I hope people know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, he was always the other guy, like you said.
Which is funny because talking about our topic today, as great as he is, he's always been the other guy.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to get into Kane here in a minute. Two real quick things I want to breeze through real quick because there's a lot to get to with Kane. First of all, I want to give well wishes out there to La Parka, not the La Parka from WCW,
that's LA Park.
Yeah, LA Park is. Look, Mexico's weird, okay? But there's a new. Well,
Whoa!
I say,
Careful.
Like, not in a racist way,
I know.
Trademarks and things are weird down there. This is LA Park, or excuse me, La Parka 2. Technically, he's been La Parka since the late '90s when the first La Parka had a falling out with AAA. And AAA owns the name and the likeness and all that stuff. So he had to change his name to LA Park, which I recently found out LA stands for La Auténtica. So basically he was calling himself the real Park. So
Joseph Park?
Gosh. Well, it was supposed to be LA Parquet, but nobody pronounced it that way. So he finally just gave up and started calling himself LA Park. And as Santiago says, now he sounds like a Korean wrestler. Wow. But La Parka at a big AAA show did and I hate calling it this, but it's what it's called because of what happened. He did a suicide dive, got caught up on the middle rope, and went almost headfirst into the barricade and floor. He had to be rushed to the hospital. They said he has gotten feeling back in his lower extremities. So good for him. But it was very scary. He looked like somebody threw a sack of potatoes out through the ropes and it slapped on the floor. The video was all over the internet. You couldn't help not see it.
I only watched it once. I can't do it again. So
yeah, it was bad. I'm glad he's alive. He's had very bad back and neck problems most of his career because he got into a horrible car wreck back in the 90s, and it's plagued him ever since. So,
it's
yeah.
a thing with luchadors, man. Car wrecks, seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good.
He's going to be fine, dude. They learn to fall. Remember that.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's it. Well, anyway, best wishes to La Parka. I hope everything, as much crap as me and Santiago has talked about his in-ring style, we don't hate the dude. That's like when you and I bag on wrestlers here. We're not crapping on them as people. I bag on Baron Corbin's, being, which, by the way, I'm renewing my interest in his in-ring work. I don't think he's as bad as he was there for a while.
I never lost interest, just for the record. So.
There for the longest time, I was like, I could care less about him in any way, shape, or form. He's still doing the same, oh, you're short and I'm tall shtick with literally everyone. So I don't care about that. But his in-ring work is getting a lot better.
Shocker.
So, yeah. Shut up. Just shut up. I know what you're getting at.
I'll take a second.
But yeah, so we're not bagging on him as a person. But if you go listen to Retro Wrestling Review, my other podcast, we've bagged on his in-ring style, but as a person, I'm sure he's a wonderful human being, and I hate to see anything happen to anybody in the ring.
I said the same thing about Russo too, and some people were messaging me, "Oh, why do you hate Russo?" I'm talking about Russo the writer. I don't know anything about Russo the man. He could be the coolest dude on the planet, for all I know. I don't know.
He's probably not. But,
I don't know. I said he could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to assume anything. I don't know.
Right. Well, the last thing is obviously Eric Bischoff got released from WWE. There have been a lot of talks that, a lot of people are speculating they hired him just to fire him because he was literally there for a cup of coffee, and the ratings dropped by 1 million viewers in 1 week, and next thing you know, he's fired. So... And if you want to believe everything, every single week that he was there and he had any input on what was going on, they said Vince would come in and first thing he would do is throw out the script and tell him to start over. So, I don't know.
Doesn't work for me, pal.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be any better with Bruce Pritchard at the helm. And if the ratings drop, are they going to fire him for the fourth time?
I think it'll be third.
Yeah, probably the third, because I think he got fired in 92, was there again until, 2008?
Yeah.
So this would be number 3.
Hey, yeah, apparently he's responsible for 2004, which is one of the better years in wrestling, I thought. So, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We can say it can't get any worse as far as ratings go. So, I mean, it could. But, Fox has invested a lot into this, so they're not going to let it die. They're trying.
We're 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
I mean, for Christ's sakes, come on, man.
I know. Well,
why would anyone? No, not you. I just mean people complaining about it. Like, my God, guys, and the World Series is up against it.
Well, I mean, here's another
NBA's coming
thing.
back.
Well, SmackDown had the biggest drop in viewership, but Raw, NXT, AEW, and SmackDown have all seen a drop in numbers every week for the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's not just a single show problem. People are tuning out of wrestling, period.
Tuning out or recording and watching it later or watching on stream. I guarantee you billions of people are watching combined. It's just not reflecting on TV. I will believe that till the day I die. It's being seen.
Well, and the fact that SmackDown and Raw were able to never, ever, ever have to worry about their spot on USA Network for years with the ratings that they were pulling in on a weekly basis just goes to show that ratings aren't a big deal anymore. I mean, they are to a certain extent, but not anywhere near what they used to be.
Commercially, maybe.
Yeah, but ratings... some of the ratings that Raw and SmackDown were pulling in, if this had been the 90s, USA Network would have been threatening to pull the plug on the show altogether.
Well, in the 90s, there were no streaming platforms, though. No way to people to legally watch it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's not important.
Quick, I don't watch it on USA Network, okay? I watch it on the Comcast app. So I don't think that's being counted towards TV ratings.
No.
So it's just a thing. People watch it in multiple different forms. NXT is a different story. They literally put it on the network at 12 o'clock at night after it airs. So no one has to watch it live on USA. So that's another thing to think about. So
because of how little time I have most days, and I don't want to miss stuff. 9 times out of 10, I watch on YouTube. 2 or 3 days later.
Well, there you go.
So I am watching, but
the ratings reflect live showings, not if you know what I mean, who's seen it overall.
Right.
Like billions of people are seeing this. They're just not watching it live on TV. That's it, and that's all.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, that's all I know for now. But anyway, I don't
think any of them are hurting, by the way.
No, I mean they're not.
I think they're all
scared.
Fine.
Yeah, nobody's scared right now. I mean, I do feel bad for Eric Bischoff to an extent. I feel even worse for the fact that people dogpiled on him on social media, haha, screw you, you got fired. That's just.
Well,
that's
just
up.
keep in mind, all those people laughing, he probably makes more than them in a couple days than they do in their lifetime. So.
Yeah, he has a podcast that everybody and their mother listens to. So it's just stupid.
He's fine.
And the fact that people like Vince Russo said, "Oh, it's karma, bro, coming back to bite him in the ass," and then you've got Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez just with their hate towards him. It's stupid. But anyway, getting into the subject at hand, you want to talk some Kane?
Yeah, this should be fun.
We're going to breeze through a lot of this just because of the nature of timing and our podcast and everything. But
can we just skip the corporate Kane, the best part?
So now I am going to bring my knife with me to Chicago. And I'm driving.
It's not flying.
Yeah, no TSA. But anyway, Glenn Thomas Jacobs was born on April 26, 1967 in Spain because he was born to an Air Force family. They were stationed in Spain at the time he was born, so that's an odd factoid. He was not born here in America.
So he will never be the devil's favorite president.
I know, right? That's leaving it open to a lot of jokes, by the way, but we're going to leave that alone.
Oh, Lord, I really didn't mean to do that.
I know. But he grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, which is a big wrestling area, but he grew up playing football and basketball and all that stuff, has college degrees, good for him. But when he finally got into wrestling, I wrote down some of these former gimmicks that he started with just because it's so crazy. It's funny that you should use that word.
Buckle in, right?
In the ring, Jacobs was first known as Angus King when he debuted in the St. Louis, Missouri area with the CSWA in 1992. He later moved south and began wrestling as Doomsday, also appearing as the Christmas Creature in the USWA.
Was Kevin Sullivan his elf?
Oh, good Lord. You could all find footage of the Christmas Creature, by the way. If you Google it, throw it in your Google machine. It is hilarious. He's supposed to be, like, scary.
Sorry.
He looks like Buddy the Elf, but with a mask and with tinsel wrapped around him. It's just...
crap.
That was a Jerry Lawler creation. He appeared in Unabomb, or as Unabomb, rather, in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, where he held the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Championships with Al Snow in a team called the Dynamic Duo. That's something.
That's a motley duo.
Right? Jacobs also worked for Pro Wrestling Fujiwara Gumi under his real name. That's a mouthful. In 93, Jacobs was called Bruiser Mastino and lost his only match for World Championship Wrestling to Sting. In 94 and 95, Jacobs...
So Sting has wrestled Kane Undertaker, but not Kane Undertaker.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
In
I didn't
94...
know that.
Yeah, well, now you know the more you know, Greg. In 94 and 95, Jacobs, as Doomsday, wrestled in the World Wrestling Council in Puerto Rico and feuded with Invader One. If I remember correctly, that was the one that did not stab Bruiser Brody to death.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
I don't know that. Don't get that out there.
Yeah, allegedly. Hey, I said he didn't. Okay? This one did not stab him to death. So, in August of 95, Jacobs wrestled as Unabomb and lost to WWF wrestler The Undertaker in the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Show. Apparently, this was Undertaker's first sighting of Glenn Jacobs and their first time wrestling each other. Man, how many times they would wrestle each other later on.
Couple.
Yeah. Well, before we get into his actual, big time debut and all that stuff, we're going to take a quick break, let you know about some other podcasts on the Big Heads Media Network. When we return, more big red goodness.
After my first few episodes, some of my newfound fans called me a lore master, which was an honor and so epically cool. But the thing is, I desire to be known as the lore master. So, this is the tale of the rise of an epic podcast that critics say is redefining a genre. The tale of a man who decided that his calling in life was to give a future to the past. The saga of Arjun, your lore master. Come dream with me as we go deep into our stories. If you think you've been taken to a battlefield before, I assure you, you're mistaken. So take a deep breath, let it out slowly, put some smoke in the air if you choose, and prepare to let your mind flow to my voice as we go deep. Welcome to Deep into History, available everywhere.
Hi, I'm Brad.
This is Rob.
And I'm Dustin.
You guys, I messed up.
I hate him so much, Rob.
Kill yourself already. Jeez.
Oh, we can't use this one. Because you dropped the F-bomb and you told him to kill himself.
Oh, did I say something wrong?
Only on Big Heads Media.
Yes! Nailed it!
God, I hate you guys.
All right, we're back from the break, and it's time to get into more Kane before he was Kane. And you and I talked about this. If you want to go back in the archives, in the 1995 review, Isaac Yankem DDS made his debut in the WWF.
Hell yeah.
They aired a vignette on June 26, 1995 episode of Raw. He was a evil dentist. Yeah, he had an in-ring debut.
Means he wasn't really a doctor.
Good Lord. He had an in-ring debut on a Superstars taping on August 15th where he lost to Bret Hart by countout. So you're bringing in this big, scary dude to feud with Bret Hart, and he can't buy a win. And for all of you that don't remember, he was disqualified at SummerSlam against Bret Hart when Bret Hart's neck got hung up in the ropes and he kept choking him out. So there's that.
Oh man.
He then lost to Bret Hart in a steel cage match in the main event of the October 16th episode of Raw, and finally in a tag match against Hart and Hakushi, in which he partnered with Jerry Lawler on November 6th. So, loss. Ah, good grief.
What a run.
He was also part of the Survivor Series team. He was part of the 96 Royal Rumble match. Obviously, he did nothing. His final appearance was at a series of live events in Kuwait in May. What a way to go out. As well as a September tour of South Africa, after which the Yankem gimmick was retired. And I would say thank God, but in September of 1996, Jim Ross introduced him as the fake Diesel. And Rick Bogner, may he rest in peace, was the fake Razor Ramon.
Money.
Yeah. And they acted like this was real. The pair competed as a tag team, losing a WWF Tag Team Championship match to Owen Hart and British Bulldog at In Your House 12, It's Time. Do you remember that match at all?
I do. That whole pay-per-view was a masterpiece. One of the greatest ever.
Oh, yeah. Who did
I am joking,
Shawn,
of course.
Who did Shawn end up facing for the title?
I don't think he faced anybody. He wasn't the champion. I think he was on commentary. Bret Hart wrestled Sid.
Oh, okay. Because the original plan was obviously, with the name of the event, It's Time, it was going to be Vader. But Shawn cried and whined and said Vader was too stiff, so they got Vader out of the title picture, and the rest is history.
Hashtag plans changed.
Yeah, well, Diesel and Ramon's last appearance on TV was in the 1997 Royal Rumble, where Jacobs was the third to last participant. Yay.
Yeah, Final Four, man. That's impressive.
It is, except for the fact that why the hell would he win? I don't even know.
Why wouldn't he?
Well, he disappeared, and
real quick. If you think about it, Diesel's was in the final two or the final four of the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row. Just putting it out there.
Shut the hell up.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, the Diesel name sure was. I always loved when he was Jim Cornette's story about he had to train Glenn Jacobs to be the fake Diesel, and he had to study tapes of Kevin Nash, and he said,
how hard is it to flip your hair?
He was like, well, he had 5 moves. He said he's got the the knee in the corner, the hair flip, the jackknife, the side slam, and something else. And they played that for Kevin Nash, and they said, if you had to add a 6th move of Doom, what would it be? And he said it would probably be teabagging Jim Cornette. Oh, man. Frickin' Kevin Nash is one of a kind. But either way, now we finally get to the good stuff. And I mean that literally. He disappeared for a while, and then at the end of the year, at In Your House 14 Revenge of Taker, The Undertaker threw a fireball in the face of Paul Bearer. Bearer eventually came back and told him that that there was his brother was still alive, his half-brother Kane, and Undertaker thought he'd been dead. He got burned in the fire that killed his parents in their funeral home. Apparently they lived in a funeral home or whatever. I don't know.
Why wouldn't they? That's normal.
Yeah. Why wouldn't the Undertaker and Paul Bearer reside in a funeral home?
I'm sensing sarcasm. I don't get it. Whatever.
Yeah. I can see little Wendy Undertaker there, little ginger Undertaker.
Oh my God!
What?
Nothing.
He can't hear this. It's fine. But
and if he can, holy crap!
Yeah. Right. Hey, Undertaker, if you're listening, thank you, and please don't kill me. But anyway, he says, the fire that burned down the funeral home and killed his parents. Well, he thought he killed his little brother Kane. Well, he's not dead. He's alive, and he can prove it. And it's Undertaker's biggest secret. And then, if you want to hear what happened with it, like the final blow up of all that, now in the archives from 3 weeks ago, I believe, is at it wasn't In Your House. It was Bad Blood in Your House. That's what it was. The very first ever Hell in a Cell match. Kane makes his debut, rips the Hell in a Cell door off, comes in, tombstones the Undertaker, leading to Shawn Michaels getting the victory. And I packed a lot of that in there because there's so much craziness that happened. But Jacobs won his first match as Kane against Mankind at Survivor Series. The Undertaker kept refusing to face him because he really wanted to face The Undertaker. I really remember this storyline. This was like the first storyline as a kid I ever saw and really got into.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, because I was just like mesmerized.
I vividly remember him coming out. It's like legit scared. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like a freaking monster. He was gigantic. He was buff. He had that creepy, cool-looking outfit on. I mean, to play the if this were real game, you got to look at him and go, why would a guy who was like holed up all these years, burned and scarred and all that, why would he wear that?
I don't know, but kind of like negates the whole thing when he takes the sleeve off, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. I don't understand why one arm is only half of him burned.
He debuted with both sleeves, right? I think he had two long sleeves.
He started with one sleeve, and then he added the second sleeve. I remember the night he added that second sleeve was the first blood match against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because I kept thinking, we talked about this before, because I was like, well, Austin is just going to have to like slice his arm or something like that. And then I'm like, damn it, he's got his arm covered too.
Well, there's another way.
We'll get to it.
I'm sorry.
We're getting ahead. But this whole thing, basically, he kept challenging The Undertaker, kept saying he was going to beat up everybody on the roster until The Undertaker faced him. Undertaker kept refusing, saying he wouldn't fight his own flesh and blood. He cost The Undertaker the WWF title by interfering in his Royal Rumble match against Shawn Michaels. Again, it was a casket match.
Which I was at.
Yeah, and I hate you to this day for that. Well, you being there live, here's what happened. Kane threw he rolled the Undertaker in, he locked him in there because there was like a padlock on it. He took an axe to it, poured gasoline all over the casket, and then set it on fire, bro. And that casket was gone forever, bro. allegedly along with the Undertaker. What did you think while all this was going on? You were there like in person.
I don't remember, but I think I was scared as hell. And then I think they like chopped it open. They showed it on the big screen, and he was gone. They didn't show that on the pay-per-view. I think it's an extra somewhere.
Yeah, I think
they did show on the big screen that he was gone.
I think the pay-per-view ended with Kane just like holding his arm out, like doing his little one-arm taunt. But yeah, so that was that. I remember.
I just want to say, by the way, I saw that turn coming. I think we all did.
Oh yeah, him turning against the Undertaker. Yeah. Because there for a minute they were like, they acted like, okay, whatever, we're friends. You know, we'll work together. And I was like, nah, screw you. And then he murdered him. But then, I mean,
I remember when they came together real quick. He was about to get attacked by the Headbangers and Flash Funk, and a who's who of wrestlers.
Oh yeah, it's people that the Undertaker clearly couldn't fight off. But
the Job Squad, literally.
Yeah, but this, I remember before this even, like some of the build-up, like Kane really tried to get the Undertaker to go after him. They had a video of he was in the graveyard where their parents were buried, and he took a sledgehammer to the tombstones of their parents and set the tombstones on fire, and then he wheeled their caskets with their bones inside onto the stage. The Undertaker ran up because Kane was going to set him on fire, and Undertaker ran up there, and Kane goozled him and then chokeslammed him into the casket, quote unquote, with his mother's body, and just crazy stuff. It was freaking insane. I was like, okay. Like looking back on it, this was like over the top nuts. But as a kid, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Creepy, but cool.
Yeah, I did too.
But either way, the Undertaker eventually came back. I can't remember, timeline of when it was, but he came back. Like they wheeled him onto the stage. He was struck by lightning, and he sat up, and then he walked through fire, and he told Kane that he would face him at WrestleMania, and he would walk through fire to get to him. So they did have their match at WrestleMania 14, and after Undertaker
I think
won.
That's an underrated classic, by the way.
It was, here's the thing. I never watched an Undertaker-Kane match and went, my God, this is so good. It was...
And you must have not watched that one then.
It was good. It was really... I think the thing that made it better was the story. Like, as far as, like... I think this was their best that they ever had. I don't know. It's two big guys beating the crap out of each other. It is what it is. I liked it. I'm not crapping on it, if anybody thinks that. I did like it, especially at the time. I freaking loved it. I love WrestleMania 14. It's in my top 5. My fave 5, dog. But yeah, after the match, Kane and Paul Bearer attacked The Undertaker. And this was the one, I've seen this pay-per-view a million times. Unforgiven in Your House on April 26th of 1998. Do you remember the infamous Inferno match?
Of course I do. Vividly.
This one was nuts. Like, Kane, I can't remember how. I think he went up top and Undertaker shoved him or something like that. I know he fell out of the ring somehow, but not set on fire yet. Then Undertaker, like Vader came down and was fighting with Kane to keep him from walking away. Undertaker came and did his swan dive over the fire onto both men. And then eventually Kane went for a big boot and got his boot caught up on the thing that the fire was on.
No, that was the second one.
Oh, that was the second one? Oh, no, that's right. His arm. Undertaker did something, grabbed his arm, and Kane's arm caught on fire the first time. I remember that. Okay.
I remember this vividly because you try to suspend disbelief, but you can clearly see he had a freaking bag on his arm. Even before it got caught on fire.
How dare you, Greg?
They couldn't use like a latex thing on his suit or something?
Hey, bro. He's going to get caught on fire and he's gone forever, bro. We're still getting
Shut up.
But yeah, that happened. There was the very first time a match ever ended with a man being set on fire. That was the rule of the match. It was what it was. If nobody's ever seen an Inferno match before, the ring is surrounded by fire. It was not like, which also involved Kane. What did they call it? The Ring of Fire match?
Yeah.
Him and Bray Wyatt. Yeah. That was just a match, and they were just surrounded by fire. There was nothing to, like, the fire didn't play into the stipulation. And then it really didn't play into anything when the Wyatt family were able to put their jackets over the fire and walk over it. Like,
this is pre-Braun Strowman, too, by the way.
Yeah, but we're getting ahead of ourselves again.
He probably would have just broken it down.
Yeah, that fire would have got them hands. And Over the Edge in your house, Kane defeated Vader in a mask versus mask match. Is that the one where Vader did the post-match interview where he said he was a fat piece of crap?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. They got mad at him because he got overly into the promo, and he said he was a fat piece of you-know-what. And I guess they were like, dude, you went too far.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. But on a June 1st episode of Raw, Kane defeated Undertaker to become the number one contender for the WWF title. At King of the Ring, Kane defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin in a first blood match following interference by Mankind and The Undertaker to win the WWF title. This is what we were talking about. The stipulations, bro, was there was a first blood match. And if Kane didn't win the WWF title, he said this through, he started off using a voice box thing, like if you have a hole in your throat from cancer. I can't remember what they call it. I just called it a voice box. But
modulator?
Yeah, the modulator thing. And he would talk like this, and it was so terrible to listen to over the house mic. And he said...
I'm sure he was talking. Anyways.
Oh, well, yeah. They did the old Ole Anderson Black Scorpion deal.
Oh, hell yeah! Oh, sorry.
Got to get into that later. But he said if he didn't win the WWF title, he would set himself on fire. Here's the things. They asked Russo, they said, because Vince Russo came up with this. According to Bruce Pritchard...
Hold on, before you start this, Pritchard says this is 100% real, so...
Oh, yeah. Well,
not
he
for
said,
entertainment, although it is entertainment.
Well, yeah. But he asked Russo, he was like, okay, well, how is Austin going to win? There's nothing to cut him open with. He said, bro, he could slit his throat, bro. Real thing. And this is where we get the quote. It's like, well, what if he loses? Bro, he's going to set himself on fire, then he's gone forever, bro. That's where it comes from. So...
This is real.
Oh, yeah. According to Bruce Pritchard, that is. And I don't think Vince Russo has ever disputed that. But yeah, so he won the title.
You know what would have been better, though, if they would have had a match like that match with Abyss and Sting had. The
last rites match where they literally chanted Fire Russo.
Imagine that. And Kane and Undertaker in that.
Oh, gosh. Just shut up. But Kane beat Austin for the title, King of the Ring. Very next night on Raw, Austin won it back. So, pointless.
You got to point out 2 years in a row, night after King of the Ring, Austin beats the Brothers of Destruction for the WWE title. It's funny.
Yeah, that's nuts. Well, Kane went on to do a bunch of tag team stuff after this. He won the WWF tag titles with Mankind, and then, or twice actually. He turned on Mankind. I know, shocker, and formed an alliance with The Undertaker. Here's where they finally dubbed themselves the Brothers of Destruction. At Breakdown in Your House, Kane, Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin were in a triple threat match for the WWF title. Kane and Undertaker were prohibited from pinning each other, so they pinned Austin at the same time. They then fought one another for the vacant title at Judgment Day in your house, and it ended in no contest when special guest ref Stone Cold Steve Austin counted a double pinfall and declared himself the winner during the match. The Undertaker betrayed Kane for pallbearer. So heel turn, bro. And I think didn't McMahon fire Austin for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
And then the next night, Undertaker and Kane break McMahon's ankle.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff, pal. At Rock Bottom in your house, Kane interfered in the Buried Alive match between Austin and The Undertaker. He attacked Undertaker and cost him the match. Has Undertaker ever won a Buried Alive match?
Well, technically, he beat Mankind, but then he ended up getting buried anyways after.
Gosh. He just needs to stay away. Every match that is, quote, his specialty never turns out well for The Undertaker. I mean,
he beat Giant Gonzalez in the Rest in Peace match.
Oh, yeah, which was just a match.
It had a title on it, and it was his match. Therefore, you are wrong.
Good Lord. Well, as a result of this, by the way, the corporation had Kane committed to an insane asylum.
Oh, God, I forgot about this, Jim.
In
it
December,
literally had guys in white coats come down and chase him around and stuff.
Yes.
You can't make this stuff up, dude.
Good TV. Well, Kane joined the corporation to stay out of the asylum. He later betrayed the corporation, and they threw him out of the alliance. He then formed a tag team with X-Pac and Tori. This was really weird. But while teaming with X-Pac, Kane evolved from being a mute, aided with speech through an electrolarynx, to speaking unaided. So it's a miracle he's healed.
What the hell?
What? I had to throw out some brother love. But he also became associated with DX, and he was like an adjunct member, I guess. So, yeah, and his first unaided words were "suck it."
Well, why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, that's something. He won the tag titles twice with X-Pac. The team broke up when X-Pac turned on Kane to rejoin DX. Kane and X-Pac then engaged in a long feud. I don't really remember most of this. I was in and out of wrestling at the time. But Tori later betrayed Kane.
Let me save you some time. It sucked.
Yeah, well, Tori later betrayed Kane and joined X-Pac and DX. They ended their feud at WrestleMania 2000, where Kane teamed with Rikishi, there's a team for you, to defeat X-Pac and Road Dogg. What the hell was going on in the year 2000?
I think Rikishi was just starting to become a thing, too, so.
Yeah. Well, he returned on a May 29th episode of Raw to help The Undertaker and The Rock fight off the McMahon-Helmsley faction. Again, it goes to King of the Ring against Vince and Shane, and then champion Triple H. The Undertaker and Kane's rivalry resurfaced during the match, but they patched their relationship up soon after. They can't figure out what the hell's going on with these two.
Oh, they're brothers. They fight, they hug, they fight, they hug. Come on.
Yeah.
Not that difficult.
They had another match at SummerSlam. Match ended with The Undertaker removed Kane's mask, causing him to flee the ring, covering his exposed face. Which, by the way, remember for later, he had hair. He did. It wasn't on the mask. He had hair.
Yeah, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder pointed out that figure they just made from that event, The Undertaker comes with a Kane mask with hair, but that Kane mask didn't have hair on it. So they quickly pointed that out for that figure, so it's kind of an error.
Yeah, kind of stupid. Skipping through a lot of this, he had a feud with Chris Jericho. He got back
over a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that was... God.
This is post-Russo, by the way, so...
Yeah, 2000 WWF kind of sucked. He joined back up with The Undertaker immediately after the Royal Rumble. This was where he set the record at the time for eliminating 11 wrestlers, and he was a runner-up, being eliminated by Steve Austin. Then he went after the hardcore title. He defeated Raven for it at WrestleMania X7 in a triple threat match against him and the Big Show.
That match was fun.
Yeah, it involved a golf cart.
Don't get me wrong, it sucked, but it was fun.
God. Again, the Brothers of Destruction got together, and they feuded with Edge and Christian, Rikishi and Haku. Apparently that was a thing. And the two-man power trip. Kane beat Triple H for the Intercontinental title at Judgment Day. That was a thing.
Yeah.
He lost the title to Albert.
Why do you say it like that? That was a thing. This is real.
Yeah. In 01. Kane lost the Intercontinental title to Albert on an episode of SmackDown after being attacked by DDP. God. And then Kane and Undertaker.
Read that again. Read that again.
No, I'm good. During the invasion.
That was so bad.
Yes. That's just the start of it. During the invasion, Kane and Undertaker feuded with DDP and Chris Kanyon after the whole DDP stalking Undertaker's wife thing.
I was at that glorious match in San Jose, by the way, the cage match. Oh, it was something.
Yeah, it was at SummerSlam, and it resulted in the Brothers of Destruction holding both the WWF and WCW tag titles. They later defeated Chronic at Unforgiven, real name. They both participated in a 10-man winner-take-all match at Survivor Series as members of various of the victorious Team WWF. Basically, before he got injured and left for a while, he feuded with the New World Order when they came in, and began acting human rather by talking through his mask and referring to his fans as Canaanites.
That happens actually later when he comes back.
He could. I remember he called them Caniacs at one point.
Oh, maybe I'm getting ahead.
That was the first part. Yeah, he called him because I remember he had the full mask still.
I remember him talking that when he didn't have the mouthpiece or the thing over his mouth.
Right. This was
maybe he did it twice.
Mask. Yeah, he had the full mask, the tank top, and it was like the black mask. And Hogan, because I remember Hogan turned babyface, and they're all cutting promos in the locker room. And Kane goes off on a "What You Gonna Do" promo, calls his fans Caniacs.
Yeah, Canaanites.
Well, Canaanites came later. At first, it was Caniacs, and then he changed it to Canaanites.
How much crap did he do?
Apparently a lot.
Good God.
Well, we're going to have to break it into a two-parter eventually. We're going to cover a little bit more Kane when we come back. We'll have to cover some more Kane later on. This is just... There's just so much crap to squeeze into one episode. Like I said, for brevity's sake, we're going to come back. We're going to wrap it up with some more Kane, the early years, where he was, still somewhat respectable. And
then we'll then it goes all the way down, and then Corporate Kane, the most respectable part.
How many stabs are we working on now? Is it 10?
4 or 5.
I'm carrying over last week, so it's like 10. But all right, we're gonna take a quick break. Let you know about some other Big Heads Media Network podcasts. Go to bigheadsmedia.com. Check them out. Besides this one right here under the sports and pro wrestling section, there's some other great ones. When we come back, we're wrapping it up with Kane.
Hi, it's Audra,
Jason,
and Matt
from Drinkopedia Podcast.
We're a bad education podcast that's like drunk history for the full curriculum.
We have new episodes every Thursday, and you can find us on most major podcast platforms.
Join us at the bar and follow us on Twitter at Drinkopedia Pod.
If you're like me, then every Saturday in the fall is the best day of the week for you. There's nothing like waking up, turning on the TV, and getting ready for a whole day of college football action. Whether you're watching from the stadium or from the couch that day, there's still nothing like the excitement that builds as you wait for your favorite team to take the field. The problem, though, is that for most, this excitement only comes on Saturdays.
Here at the Flagship Football Show, we think every day should be College Football Saturday. That's why the Flagship team works all week to bring you the best recaps, previews, interviews, topics, and discussions on all things Ole Miss football. Tune in every Wednesday for our new episode on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, and follow us on Twitter at Flagship FB Show and on Facebook at the Flagship Football Show to keep up with all our coverage. And remember to stay with us every single Wednesday all year as we bring you everything you need to know about the Flagship University in Mississippi on the Flagship Football Show.
All right, we're back. We're going to cover as much of Kane before we sign off here as possible. Might as well get into it here. Let's get up to the point where he finally loses the mask, and then we'll wrap it up at a later date. Because like I said, there's so much crap, and I don't want to make this into a 2-hour episode. When he returned from a long injury, by the way, to the now WWE, he was part of the Raw roster in August of 2002 with a new outfit and a half mask. Like you said, they removed the mouth part, and they kind of... the way they made the mask, it wasn't symmetrical anymore. It's like it was melted almost.
I liked it.
So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. They came with a figure, or they came out with a figure. I kind of wanted it, but I never did end up getting it. It was, you could take the mask and the hair on and off, and he had this outfit on, and he came with like the chains. We'll talk about it. But either way, he came back as a baby face on the September 23rd episode of Raw. He won the World Tag Team titles with the frickin' Hurricane after defeating Lance Storm and Christian of the Un-Americans.
A.K.A. the Canes.
Yes, the Hurricanes. They, Lance Storm and Christian, part of the Un-Americans, there's nothing more un-American than a Canadian. Especially
I don't know what to say to that.
Especially a Canadian that takes up residence in America. They said that's
he loves
why...
Tampa.
Yeah, well, they said that's why Test and Christian didn't really even want to do the gimmick, because they were like, we live here. They were like, we love America. Why are we doing this? They're like, well, it's just a gimmick. And they're like, yes, but it's stupid.
That's weird, because WWE usually doesn't do stupid gimmicks.
Yeah, not with Christian. Christian never has stupid gimmicks.
Not that year at all.
Oh, yeah. I will say this. It got a lot of heat with my dad when they threatened to burn the American flag on live TV. And of all people, Kane came out to stop them.
In a botched return, by the way.
Why was it botched?
You didn't notice the pyro went off first? And then the music came?
No. I'd have to go back and watch that. Totally didn't even notice.
I thought it was meant to be, but then Bruce Pritchard said it was botched. And I knew it was a botch from the moment I saw it. But
Huh. Well, how about that? They don't botch, pal. Damn it. The pyro guy got a little excited. But the following week on Raw, Kane won the Intercontinental title from Chris Jericho despite interference from Triple H and Ric Flair. On the October 7th episode of Raw, Kane successfully single-handedly defended the tag titles in a 4-team tables, ladders, and chairs match as the Hurricane had been attacked earlier in the evening by Triple H and Ric Flair and couldn't compete. That was later nominated as WWE's 2002 Match of the Year, oddly enough. They lost the titles to Chris Jericho and Christian the following week on Raw. The team that I like to call Vitamin C. You remember when they called themselves that, during backstage promos?
yeah, I think they had to stop because a rapper had that name or something.
Yeah, it's this. It was an old singer from the 90s. If nobody knows anything by Vitamin C, you probably know the song that they play at literally every single graduation. Like, they play every time there's a high school graduation video, they play her frickin' song in it. You just throw it in your Google machine and look it up. You'll know what I'm talking about. But also in October, Kane began feuding with Triple H, leading to a match at No Mercy on October 20th, in which both Kane's Intercontinental Championship and Triple H's World Heavyweight Championship were at stake. In the weeks preceding the match, Triple H claimed that several years earlier, here we go, Greg.
Oh, good God.
Kane
I forgot this was coming. I thought I blocked it out. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's coming, baby. Kane had an unrequited relationship with a woman named Katie Vick. He claimed that Vick was killed in a car crash and that Kane had sex with her. Not before her dying in the crash, by the way. Yeah. This was... Well, let's keep going with it. Triple H later threatened to show video footage of Kane committing the act in question. However, the footage that finally aired showed Triple H dressed as Kane, simulating...
We don't know that!
Yeah. Simulating mock sex with a mannequin in a casket wearing a cheerleader outfit. And it included the lines, "Oh my God, I screwed your brains out." And he picked up fake brains out of the casket.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you believe going back to what Bruce Pritchard said, the original idea for all of this is there was a wrestler named Scott Vick from WCW. I guess he was in the flock, the Ravens flock, and he was in their developmental.
Was that Sick Boy? Or?
I think so. His real name was Scott Vick, and they were going to have him feud with Kane over this, but then they saw Scott Vick actually wrestle and said, "Never mind, we're going to go in a different direction." Unfortunately, the direction was this. And again, Bruce Pritchard said they had this whole thing, and they were going to do this whole thing where they did it very seriously, and it wasn't so stupid and over the top and whatever. And it was always going to be dumb, but he was trying to describe how it was originally going to go. And Vince came in and said, no, you got to over the top, and you got to say this, and you got to do this, and all this other stuff. And Triple H, according to Bruce, Triple H gave Bruce a look like, "Please save me, I don't know what to do." And Bruce was like, and they finally negotiated with Vince. They said, "We'll do it our way, or we'll do it your way first, and then we'll do it our way, and then we'll decide which way is better." And he said, "Okay." And they filmed Vince's way, and he was like, "Great, perfect." And they put it in the can, and they left, and Triple H was like, "What the hell just happened?" So,
can't undo that. Ring that bell.
Yeah, they got Vinced. But either way, Kane's tag team partner, the Hurricane, responded the following week by showing a video of Triple H, rather someone wearing a Triple H series of masks, getting an enema. I don't remember that. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah. I would think I would remember this. I remember the Katie Vick thing.
Who doesn't?
Unfortunately. But after all of this, of course, Triple H defeated Kane at No Mercy due to Triple H and Ric Flair cheating, unifying the World and Intercontinental titles. On the October 28th episode of Raw, Kane defeated Triple H in a non-title casket match to, quote, end their feud. Sure. And at Survivor Series, Kane participated in the first ever Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight title, which was won by Shawn Michaels. That the one where Triple H got his throat crushed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. If nobody remembers that one, I'm going to pull a Conrad. If you have to go back and watch one match this week, make it that one. The very first Elimination Chamber Survivor Series. What was
Go out
that?
of your way to watch this one, folks.
The 2002, I said?
Yeah.
Okay. Kane, here we go, back with Triple H again, because he formed a tag team with Rob Van Dam, Kane that is, the duo eventually winning the world tag titles. they lost the titles to La Resistance at Bad Blood because, whatever. And then Triple
Conway,
H.
right? No, that's later.
Yes, I want to say this was Rene Dupree and Sylvain Grenier. Triple H offered Kane a spot in Evolution. Raw's co-general manager, Stone Cold Steve Austin, offered Kane the opportunity to face Triple H for the World's Heavyweight Championship if he rejected Triple H's offer. However, co-general manager Eric Bischoff insisted that if Kane lost the match, he would have to unmask. Here's where we're going to wrap it all up. Kane accepted Austin's offer, challenged Triple H the following week at MSG. Triple H won the match following interference from his stablemates, and on the June 23rd, 2003 episode of Raw, Kane removed his mask. That was... I'll never forget that.
And he wasn't even burned. What a coincidence.
Nope. Yeah, how about that? He looked just fine. I mean, he's not the prettiest man of all time, but he was just fine. Stupid little tuft of hair on top of his head.
Like, dude, just let it go.
This was, by the way, so stupid because when he took the mask off, the hair was on the mask. But what was it, 2 weeks before that or something like that? Batista ripped his mask off and he ran to the back with his hair covering his face.
Well, maybe he had to get bald for this moment. I don't know.
Yeah, that just... what the hell just happened?
Don't question it.
It was all just... Kane had a really weird life.
Must have pissed someone off, huh?
Hey, he got paid a lot of money. He had a decent career as Kane. Good for him. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to stop it, is where he got unmasked. We'll have to pick it up at a later date to cover all of his unmasked years, all of his remasked years, and then the Devil's favorite libertarian.
Hell yes.
Corporate Kane, damn it. But all right, well, that's that. It was interesting diving into Kane's career a little bit, at least, the biggest chunk of it. There's still a lot more to get to later on, a lot more that he did. From here on out, it kind of goes downhill.
I'm sorry, at what point were we going uphill?
Good point. I don't know. But next week, it's one day before Halloween is when our final episode of the month will drop, October 30th. We will be covering Halloween Havoc 1998, where we could see the rematch of the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. And boy, what a rematch it was. We did a watch-along. It is on our YouTube, and I think it is in the archives. We did I put all of our Halloween Havoc watch-alongs together.
Because we hate you, apparently.
Yo, hey, this was classic, okay? Classic stuff. Don't you dare put this one down.
In what sense of the word was it classic?
Look, crap and classic both start with C, okay?
Sure.
Just leave it at that. But in 2 weeks, it is November. Our first show of November will be on the 6th. That is where we will do our first giveaway, or, we will give the key word or phrase for our giveaway. We are covering Survivor Series 1997, the big one. We are doing 2 classic Survivor Series reviews that month. Because the week after that, we're going to do Clash of Champions, Guts and Glory, and Great American Bash 1989. Those 2 shows are connected, and we are doing those in honor of Veterans Day. Got to get all red, white, and blued up for it. And November 20th, that will be our second Classic Survivor Series review. We will cover 2002. I think you and I agreed that was a pretty damn good one. And it had the very first, more Kane. Very first Elimination Chamber.
That was one of the better ones, I think.
Yeah, it was a damn good event. I'm anxious to go back and watch it. It'll be good. And then, of course, November 27th show is going to be all the stuff from Chicago, Survivor Series, and TakeOver War Games. We will cover all of that. So November is going to be a great time for shows.
It's going to be huge.
Huge with a Y. Huge. Great stuff. I had fun, kind of, talking about Kane today.
I had fun remembering all this crap.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since we did a career retrospective. If you want more, go back and check out. We did one talking about Vince Russo's various feuds in his career and whatnot. We did one on the NWO's time in WWE. And my, what a time that was. And we did a whole career retrospective on The Big Show. It was actually, oddly enough, one of our more listened to episodes. So, if you haven't heard it yet...
Big Slow.
Yeah, the knucklehead himself. Just go check that out. But thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for the memories.
And we will see you all next week. Later.
Later.